Welcome the Spicy Lady. Have you ever wondered why some men immediately earn a Spicy Lady Sigma's respect, while others lose it without even realizing what went wrong? The answer has very little to do with looks, money, or smooth words. In fact, many people spend so much time trying to appear attractive that they completely miss the qualities that actually matter. A Spicy Lady Sigma is often careful about who she allows into her life because she understands that every relationship either brings peace or unnecessary stress. She pays close attention to small details that most people overlook. The way a man handles disappointment, keeps his word, treats people when nothing is expected in return, and responds when life does not go his way tells her far more than grand romantic gestures ever could. In this video, we are going beyond common dating advice to uncover the 9 deeper qualities that truly matter and the warning signs that instantly change how a Spicy Lady Sigma sees a man. Stay with us until the very end, because every point builds on the last, and together they reveal a perspective that could completely change the way you understand attraction, trust, and lasting relationships. Now, let's get started. The Spicy Lady. Number 1. She wants a man who has built a life before looking for someone to fill it. She doesn't want to become someone's identity, therapist, or life purpose. One of the biggest things a Spicy Lady Sigma looks for is a man who already has a meaningful life before she becomes part of it. She is not searching for someone who expects a relationship to fix everything that feels empty inside. She wants a partner, not a rescue mission. Many people believe love should complete them, but that belief often creates unhealthy pressure. If a man has no direction, no interests, no personal goals, and no sense of purpose outside the relationship, he can slowly begin to depend on his partner for happiness. That may sound romantic at first, but over time it becomes exhausting. A Spicy Lady Sigma understands this because she has spent time building her own life. She has her own routines, ambitions, values, and interests. She respects a man who has done the same. It is not about having a perfect career or a large bank account. It is about having something meaningful that gives your life direction, even when nobody is watching. Think about 2 different men. One spends every free moment waiting for a text, cancels plans whenever she calls, and slowly stops investing in himself because the relationship has become his entire world. The other enjoys spending time with her, but he also keeps learning, working toward his goals, maintaining friendships, and taking care of himself. Which one is more likely to build a healthy and lasting relationship? The answer is obvious. This is also why a Spicy Lady Sigma does not want to become someone's therapist. She can support a man through difficult seasons, but she cannot carry the weight of his entire emotional life. Real growth comes from taking responsibility for your own healing instead of expecting another person to fix what only you can fix. The strongest relationships are built by 2 people who already have solid foundations. They choose each other because their lives become richer together, not because one person is trying to fill a space that should have been filled with purpose, self-respect, personal growth, and a meaningful life of their own. Number 2. She watches how you treat people who cannot benefit you. Character becomes visible when there is nothing to gain. Waiters, cleaners, strangers, elderly people, and children reveal more about a man than his resume. A Spicy Lady Sigma pays close attention to something that many people never think about. She watches how a man treats people who have nothing to offer him. This tells her more about his character than his job title, his income, or the impressive stories he tells about himself. Anyone can be polite to a boss, a client, or someone they hope will open doors for them. The real test comes when there is no reward waiting at the end. That is why she notices the little moments that most people ignore. How does he speak to the waiter who accidentally brings the wrong meal? Is he patient with the cleaner working late at night? Does he show respect to an elderly person who walks slowly? Is he kind to a child who asks too many questions? These moments seem ordinary, but they reveal extraordinary truths. For example, imagine a man who spends the evening treating his date with kindness and respect. Everything looks perfect until the waiter makes a small mistake. Suddenly, his tone changes. He becomes rude, impatient, and insulting over something that could have been handled with simple understanding. A Spicy Lady Sigma does not just see a man who lost his temper. She sees a glimpse of how he may eventually treat the people closest to him when life becomes stressful. She understands that respect should never depend on someone's position, wealth, or influence. A person who is only kind to people with power is not truly kind. They are simply being strategic. This is why she values quiet acts of decency, holding the door for someone carrying heavy bags, thanking the security guard before leaving a building, speaking with basic courtesy to the cashier after a long day. These actions rarely receive applause, but they reveal the habits of a good heart. In the end, a resume can tell her what a man has achieved, but his everyday behavior tells her who he really is. Character is never measured by how people treat the important few. It is measured by how they treat everyone, especially those who can give them nothing in return. Number 3. She wants someone who protects her peace instead of testing her patience. A spicy Lady Sigma values peace more than excitement that comes wrapped in confusion. She is not looking for a man who keeps her guessing, constantly creates emotional highs and lows, or believes that making someone anxious is a sign of attraction. She has learned that a healthy relationship should make life feel lighter, not heavier. Many people have been taught that playing hard to get, disappearing without explanation, making someone jealous, or sending mixed signals keeps romance alive. For a spicy Lady Sigma, those behaviors do the exact opposite. They do not create mystery. They create doubt. Instead of wondering how to win someone over, she starts wondering if that person is worth keeping in her life at all. She pays attention to consistency. Do your words match your actions? Do you communicate honestly when something is wrong? Can she rely on you without feeling like she is solving a puzzle every week? These things matter far more than dramatic gestures. Think about a simple example. One man gets upset but refuses to explain why. He gives short answers, ignores messages, and expects her to guess what happened. Another man says, "I have had a difficult day. I need a little time to clear my head, but we will talk later." Both men need space, but only one protects the relationship from unnecessary confusion. That difference speaks volumes. A spicy Lady Sigma also understands that life will bring real challenges. Work becomes stressful. Families go through difficult seasons. Unexpected problems appear. She is not expecting a perfect relationship with no disagreements. She simply refuses to accept problems that are created on purpose through pride, manipulation, or emotional games. The truth is that patience should be reserved for real-life struggles, not for avoidable drama. She wants a man who helps create an environment where honesty feels normal, respect is consistent, and difficult conversations can happen without fear. In the end, peace is not boring. It is one of the rarest gifts two people can give each other. A man who protects that peace becomes someone she can trust. And trust will always outlast temporary excitement built on confusion. Number 4, she respects a man who can admit I was wrong. Nothing destroys trust faster than a man whose ego is allergic to accountability. One quality that quietly earns a spicy Lady Sigma's respect is something that many people struggle with. The ability to say I was wrong. Those 3 simple words carry more strength than many people realize. They show maturity, self-awareness, and the confidence to face the truth without hiding behind excuses. Many people think admitting a mistake makes them look weak. In reality, the opposite is often true. A man who can acknowledge when he is wrong shows that his character is more important than protecting his pride. He is interested in solving problems instead of winning arguments, and that makes him far easier to trust. A spicy Lady Sigma notices this very quickly. She understands that everyone makes mistakes. People forget important dates, misunderstand situations, lose their temper, or make poor decisions. The mistake itself is rarely the biggest issue. What matters is what happens next. For example, imagine a man forgets something important that he promised to do. Instead of saying you never reminded me or blaming his busy schedule, he simply says, I made a mistake. I should have handled it better and I am sorry. That response immediately changes the conversation. There is no need for endless arguing because accountability has already opened the door to a solution. On the other hand, a man who always has an excuse slowly damages the relationship. Every disagreement becomes a debate. Every problem somehow becomes someone else's fault. Over time, Trust begins to disappear because she realizes she is dealing with someone who protects his ego more than the relationship itself. A spicy Lady Sigma does not expect perfection. She expects honesty. She knows that people who refuse to admit small mistakes often struggle to take responsibility for bigger ones. That is why she pays attention to these moments. Real humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is being honest enough to face your flaws without feeling threatened by them. In the end, the safest person to build a future with is not the one who claims to have all the answers. It is the one who is mature enough to admit when they got something wrong and wise enough to grow from it. Number 5, she notices whether you create solutions or constantly create excuses. Everyone faces obstacles. Some people become resourceful. Others become professional victims. A spicy Lady Sigma pays close attention to how a man responds when life does not go according to plan. She knows that everyone faces setbacks. Jobs are lost, plans fail, money becomes tight, and unexpected problems appear. None of these things automatically define a person. What truly stands out is whether he looks for solutions or spends all his energy creating excuses. She has little interest in someone who always has a reason for why nothing is ever his responsibility. She understands that life can be unfair. But she also knows there is a big difference between explaining a problem and hiding behind it. One leads to progress. The other keeps a person stuck. Think about two men who lose the same job. The first spends months blaming the economy, his former boss, and everyone around him. He complains every day but takes very little action. The second man is disappointed too. But after taking time to process it, he updates his skills, applies for new opportunities, asks for advice, and keeps moving forward. Neither situation is easy, but only one mindset creates a better future. A spicy Lady Sigma respects resourcefulness because it shows resilience. She is not looking for someone who never struggles. She is looking for someone who refuses to let struggle become his permanent identity. She admires a man who asks, "What can I do next?" instead of always asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" She also notices this in everyday situations. If a plan falls apart, does he calmly think of another option or does he immediately give up? If he makes a mistake, does he correct it or spend the next hour explaining why it was someone else's fault? Small moments often reveal lifelong habits. The truth is that excuses can feel comforting because they remove responsibility. Solutions often require effort, humility, and patience. That is why so many people choose excuses. They are easier. In the end, a spicy Lady Sigma is drawn to a man who faces reality with courage. He may not have every answer, but he keeps searching for one. He understands that while he cannot control every obstacle life throws at him, he can always control his response. That mindset builds confidence, earns respect, and creates a foundation strong enough to withstand life's toughest seasons. Number 6, she pays attention to how you recover after failure. Success impresses people. Recovery reveals resilience. She knows every life includes setbacks. A spicy Lady Sigma is not fooled by a perfect success story because she knows real life does not work that way. Every person, no matter how talented or successful, will eventually face disappointment. Plans fall apart. Opportunities disappear. People make mistakes. Dreams sometimes take longer than expected. What truly captures her attention is not how high a man rises, but how he responds after life knocks him down. Success can make anyone look confident. Failure reveals what confidence is actually built on. She watches carefully, because setbacks expose qualities that are impossible to fake. Does he become bitter and blame everyone around him? Does he give up the moment things become difficult? Or does he take a deep breath, learn from the experience, adjust his approach, and try again? Those choices tell her far more about his future than any trophy or achievement ever could. Think about a man who starts a business that fails after 1 year. One person spends the next 5 years talking about how unfair life was and how other people ruined his chance. Another takes time to understand what went wrong, improves his skills, starts over with more wisdom, and slowly builds something stronger. Both experienced the same setback, but only one allowed failure to become a teacher instead of a permanent excuse. A spicy Lady Sigma respects resilience because she knows relationships also go through difficult seasons. There will be misunderstandings, unexpected expenses, family problems, and moments when life feels overwhelming. A man who cannot recover from personal failure often struggles to handle shared challenges as well. She also notices recovery in small everyday moments. Maybe he misses an important deadline. Does he panic and quit? Or does he calmly make a plan to fix it? Maybe he receives criticism at work. Does he become defensive? Or does he ask himself if there is something valuable he can learn? These ordinary situations quietly reveal extraordinary character. The truth is nobody can avoid failure forever. It visits every life sooner or later. What separates people is not how often they fall, but what they choose to do after they fall. A spicy Lady Sigma admires a man who refuses to let one bad chapter become the entire story of his life. She knows that real strength is not found in never failing. It is found in having the courage to stand up again with greater wisdom, deeper humility, and an even stronger determination to keep moving forward. Number 7. She pays more attention to your daily habits than your big promises. Anyone can sound impressive for an hour. She quietly studies your routines because habits reveal identity better than speeches ever will. A spicy Lady Sigma is rarely impressed by grand promises because she knows words are easy. Anyone can make a powerful speech about the future. Anyone can promise to change, work harder, become more responsible, or build an amazing life. The real question is simple. What do you do when nobody is listening? That is why she pays close attention to daily habits instead of dramatic declarations. She understands that habits quietly shape a person's character. They reveal who you really are long before your words ever do. For example, a man may talk for hours about becoming financially successful, yet he spends money carelessly every week and never follows a budget. Another man says very little, but he consistently saves, learns new skills, and patiently builds toward his goals. One sounds impressive. The other is actually becoming impressive. The same pattern appears in relationships. A man might promise that he will always make time for her, but if he constantly forgets important conversations, cancels plans without good reason, or only reaches out when it is convenient, his habits are telling a different story. A spicy Lady Sigma notices that contradiction almost immediately. She also watches the small routines that many people overlook. Does he finish what he starts? Does he take care of his health instead of only talking about it? Does he keep his word even when nobody is checking on him? Does he stay disciplined when life becomes busy? These ordinary choices often reveal extraordinary character. The reason this matters is simple. Habits are difficult to fake for long. A speech can last an hour. A good impression can last a few weeks. Daily routines continue long after the excitement fades. They expose what a person truly values. A spicy Lady Sigma understands that lasting relationships are not built on occasional moments of greatness. They are built on consistent actions repeated over time. Trust grows because someone keeps showing up. Respect grows because someone remains dependable. Love grows because care is demonstrated every day, not just spoken about during special moments. In the end, she is not looking for the man who can make the biggest promises. She is looking for the man whose everyday life quietly proves that his words can be trusted. She knows that the smallest habits often predict the biggest outcomes because a person's routine is a far more honest biography than any speech they could ever give. Number 8. She looks for someone who can handle silence without feeling rejected. A spicy Lady Sigma pays attention to something that many people completely overlook. She notices how comfortable a man is with silence. Not every quiet moment needs to be filled with talking, explaining, or constant reassurance. In fact, silence often reveals what words try to hide. Some people become uncomfortable the moment a conversation slows down. They immediately ask, "Are you upset? Or did I do something wrong?" They assume that silence means rejection, distance, or a problem that needs to be solved. A spicy Lady Sigma understands that this kind of reaction often comes from inner insecurity rather than genuine concern. She appreciates a man who knows that silence can simply be silence. Two people should be able to sit together, enjoy a drive, watch the sunset, read in the same room, or share a meal without feeling pressured to entertain each other every second. That kind of comfort reflects emotional security. It shows that the relationship is built on trust rather than constant reassurance. For example, imagine a couple taking a long road trip. One man becomes nervous every few minutes because she is looking out the window instead of talking. He keeps asking if everything is okay and starts creating problems that never existed. Another man enjoys the peaceful moment knowing that not every quiet minute needs an explanation. When she is ready to speak, the conversation continues naturally. That simple difference says a lot about emotional maturity. A spicy Lady Sigma also understands that everyone needs moments to think. After a busy day, people sometimes need space to process their thoughts before they can fully engage again. She respects a man who gives that space without assuming the worst. Instead of reacting with panic, he responds with patience. This does not mean ignoring real communication. Honest conversations are still essential. The difference is knowing when silence is healthy and when it signals a genuine issue. Emotionally secure people learn to recognize that difference instead of creating unnecessary tension. In the end, a spicy Lady Sigma values a man who is at peace with himself. A person who is comfortable in quiet moments usually carries that same calm into difficult conversations, stressful situations, and everyday life. She knows that when someone constantly needs reassurance, they often place the weight of their inner peace on another person. But a man who can enjoy silence without fear brings something far more valuable into a relationship. He brings stability, confidence, and the quiet comfort that makes love feel safe instead of exhausting. Number 9, she notices your relationship with envy. A secure man can celebrate another person's success without secretly competing with it. Jealousy quietly poisons relationships. A spicy Lady Sigma pays close attention to how a man reacts when someone else succeeds. It may seem like a small detail, but it reveals something much deeper than most people realize. Success has a strange way of exposing what is hidden inside the human heart. Some people feel inspired when others win. Others immediately begin comparing, criticizing, or secretly hoping that person fails. She knows that envy rarely announces itself openly. It often hides behind jokes, sarcasm, unnecessary criticism, or comments like he was just lucky, or she only got there because of connections. At first, those words may sound harmless, but over time, they reveal a mindset that struggles to celebrate anyone else's progress. A spicy Lady Sigma respects a man who can genuinely be happy for other people without feeling that their success somehow reduces his own value. He understands that another person's achievement is not proof of his failure. Life is not a race where only one person is allowed to win. For example, imagine two coworkers who both apply for the same promotion. One man congratulates the person who got the job, asks what he can learn from the experience, and continues improving himself. The other spends weeks complaining, spreading rumors, and trying to convince everyone that the promotion was unfair. They face the same disappointment, but their responses reveal completely different levels of emotional maturity. She also notices envy in relationships. If a woman receives praise for her achievements, does he celebrate with her, or does he suddenly become distant because the attention is no longer on him? A secure man is proud of the people he loves. He does not compete with them. He grows alongside them. The truth is that envy quietly destroys trust because it turns every success into a hidden competition. Instead of cheering each other on, people begin keeping score. They compare incomes, achievements, friendships, and even happiness. Eventually, the relationship becomes exhausting because someone always feels threatened by the other person's growth. A spicy Lady Sigma wants no part of that. She values a man who understands that confidence does not need someone else to lose before it can feel strong. He focuses on becoming better instead of becoming bitter. He uses another person's success as motivation rather than a reason for resentment. In the end, the way a man responds to another person's victory says a great deal about the kind of partner he will become. A secure heart has room to celebrate, encourage, and grow. An envious heart eventually turns love into competition, and competition has no place in a healthy relationship. Final words. What if becoming the kind of man a spicy Lady Sigma respects has less to do with impressing her and more to do with improving yourself? The truth is, a spicy Lady Sigma is not searching for perfection because she knows it does not exist. She is looking for consistency, emotional maturity, honesty, and a man whose actions match his words. She pays attention to the small things because they always become the big things later. The way you handle failure, treat strangers, respond to criticism, keep your promises, and manage your emotions tells her far more than expensive gifts or charming conversations ever will. At the same time, these qualities are not valuable only because they attract the right woman. They make you a stronger person regardless of your relationship status. They help you build better friendships, earn deeper trust, and create a life that is built on solid values instead of temporary appearances. If there is one lesson to take away from this video, it is this. Healthy relationships are not built by two people trying to complete each other. They are built by two people who continue growing while choosing to walk through life together with honesty and respect. If you recognize some of these qualities in yourself, keep developing them. If some of the red flags felt uncomfortably familiar, do not see them as a reason to feel discouraged. See them as an opportunity to grow. After all, real growth begins the moment we become honest with ourselves. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments which point challenged your thinking the most. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who would genuinely benefit from hearing this message. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. God bless.